Stop cherishing what you did, and we all make it last. Hey, Miss A. Just waiting a little bit for people to come on. So I'm trying something a little different today, TikTok. Remember yesterday I said that I would try to do both screens and TikTok at the same time instead of going back back to back broadcast, if I can do it all in one. So check it out. What's going on, y'all? Just waiting for a couple of people to come on in the room so we can talk about this peace treaty that's needed amongst us. So we can talk about this peace treaty that's needed amongst us so we can finally have a time to heal. So we're going to get into the conversation about why is it necessary for a peace treaty amongst us, to understand also that there's things that we need to do. And so we can't keep fighting and bickering because we have things we need to do, like purchase land, like talk about building our own infrastructure. But in order to do that, in order for us to be healed, in order for us to be restored as a people, we first must come from under the delusion of inclusion. We have to stop falling for the things that we keep falling for and understand that nobody's coming to rescue us. Understand that it is necessary, Harry. It's necessary, Lily. It's necessary, Grace. It's necessary, Indians First. Jay. It's necessary, Tasha, Little Wayne. It's necessary, 117, for us to come together and begin to heal and stop using our gifts and our talents against one another. Tammy, to Marquitos, Grog, some of these names, Dark Knight, Charles. Does anybody hear me out there? See, I understand that. See, we want to listen to foolishness. We rather scroll and keep on going and get to the foolishness and get to the games and get to the playing and get to the trying to monetize and all these things. And meanwhile, our community is being screwed left and right. We ain't really made too much progress, but I'm not here to talk about the negativity. I'm here to talk about the solution. I'm here to talk about the solution. I'm here to talk about some of the solutions. I'm here to talk about it's time to embrace your brother and your sister. It's time to embrace your brother and your sister and put your weaponry away. And so let me just tell you a little story about, let's do a little history. So there's a man who's 87 years old, born when our ancestors weren't seen as human. Watched his mother be a housewife, not housewife, a housemaid, and all these different things. And all that you have to go through and endure as a little black child, and then having to, because of because of integration, now you have to go across the tracks where you weren't wanted. And now you got to fight. You and your one little brother got to fight a neighborhood of white kids because we want to integrate. So now you already see your mother being disrespected. You see your sisters being disrespected. And now, when it's time to go to school, you're going into those classrooms, you're integrating with white students. There's not many of Black people up in there. And now you have to fight every single day. What is that? What does that do to a child? That is trauma. So now that child gets old enough that he's a teenager, and now the Korean War comes. And now this child goes into the Marine Corps. This Black child goes into the Marine Corps. And as that Black child is in the Marine Corps fighting for this country, that Black child finds himself being beaten, being held down by the covers, and being socked with soap. Just like they show you on the movies, that shit really happened while you're serving your country. Never mind now watching your friends get blown up. Never mind watching and having to kill children and everything else. And then after all that, to come back to America and know that you're still not shit. To still have no respect on your name. So now this person's in their 20s and they're out there and they're trying to find a job where all the other veterans are getting jobs, all the other veterans are getting houses, all the other veterans' children are being taken care of, but not for the Black veteran. The Black veteran's told to come on and get it together. No counseling. So we have trauma, 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 no counseling, no breaks. This is just one man's life. Now you go through life, and next thing you know, your child is gone, or you're having miscarriages, and your wife's having all these miscarriages, because you do know that Black women lose our babies 7-1 in this country. And so now you're a young couple and you're trying to have children, and you're losing your babies, and that's trauma. Who's there to talk to? It's trauma on top of trauma. Then you finally have a son, and you have him up until he's about 28 years old, and then he commits suicide. Well, excuse me, first your life partner, your wife, dies of cancer, and then 5 years later your son commits suicide. And within that time frame, your daughter, your only daughter, takes her children and gets on a plane and goes across the country. So you lose everything. And then the only children that you know as your grandchildren, their mother says, guess what? These aren't really your grandchildren, because that oldest son that you have is not really your son. So guess what? These only grandchildren that you have left, I'm pulling them away from you too. So now this man is left by himself. Trauma. This is just the life of one person in our community. And because of that, guess what? That trauma got put into the children, because I'm talking about my father. And so when my father was now working for the gas company in this town where there's not no Black people, he was the only person of color, and they tried to kill my father several times. So now the trauma is not just in my father and what he's going through, or the fact that I cannot have the father that I require because he's so rigid, because all the stuff that he's gone through, he doesn't know how to embrace. So I can't have the father that little Becky has, that has no cares in the world because he can work. Nobody's calling him at 3 o'clock in the morning to go under houses because he worked for the gas company in 0 below weather, because we're out here on the East Coast. So that trauma and the way that he raised us was stern and in trauma. And so now I'm old enough to see my father going through trauma, which puts a little girl in trauma. And then never mind the stuff that I'm dealing with. So you see, we're talking about intergenerational, and we're not talking about years and years. I'm talking about my family right now, and I'm not the only family. What I'm saying is we need to open our eyes and look at what the truth of the matter is, and what do we do to resolve it. because voting is not going to resolve it. Voting has not resolved it. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, go back to YouTube and look and see what our forefathers were fighting for. When we had and created Black Wall Street, when we were doing those things, what were we fighting for? We're fighting for the same things. So when do we understand that nobody's coming to serve us healing? And what do you think happened? Of course, I put trauma into my children, not on purpose. We don't do it on purpose. But when you look up, you realize the Black family is discombobulated now. But it wasn't just our fault, it was done by design. And so now when we come and we hurt one another, when we come and won't even allow each other peace, we won't allow each other peace. Instead, now we shoot at each other instead of having respect for each other and saying, it's okay, bro. Because guess what? Your righteousness is what I look at. Your character is what I look at. The one thing that we have not been allowed to do is heal. Even when it comes to their psychology and all these other things, it is them, it is from them. And the founding fathers were all racist. We need to understand who we are as a people. We need to understand there's a reason why we're resilient. We need to understand that there is definitely a difference about us. No, they're not like us. No, they are not like us. No, we are not like them. But this has nothing to do with separating because of hatred. It has nothing to do with separating because it has time to separate because it's time for us to heal. Let me ask you, when has your family just healed? We're continually going through stuff. We're continually going through drama. If it's not in our personal lives, it's going on the news. And they're killing us and they're shooting us still. So we're going to do riot again and walk and march and riot and walk. And then we're going to calm down after a little bit and go right back to doing things the way that they've kept us on this hamster wheel of doing stuff. And we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Now we got a Black woman, half Black, that doesn't know nothing. The true agenda of the things that we really need. Guess what? When we get off our butts and when we stop slaughtering each other and we put our wisdom together and we put our spirituality together as far as the character, in being the character that you say that you are, and treating your brother and sister with love and respect, the same way you do at work every single day. The statistics are horrible, y'all. COVID done came and we done forgot about HIV, but it's knocking our families out. COVID done came, but did we forget that HIV right now in America, it is the younger people in the Black community are at 15 times percent higher a contaminated rate than other people, than the white people and everybody else? Did we forget about the crack epidemic before we started talking about opiates? That there are families that are still dealing with generational crack epidemics? Did we forget that there are parents and women all around the country sitting home scared to death of their own children? And they don't know what to do because they don't want to call the police. Because when we call the police, they kill us and they shoot us. So they're sitting home and they're being abused. That's the backstory. This is the stuff that nobody wants to talk about. This is the fact that we got mothers sitting at home who are busted their asses raising their children to do the best that they can, that their children right now are very disrespectful and they don't know what to do. You have fathers out here in the same situation. We can't act as if the generations that are out here right now don't need help. But when all you're put in is trauma on top of trauma on top of trauma, when somebody gets hurt in the community, it doesn't just hurt that family. When I was shot, it didn't just hurt me. When I was shot, it didn't just hurt me. It didn't just hurt my family. It hurt a community, communities all across the country, communities that I have been a part of. Excuse me. When I see my sisters being shot, even though I'm not in that community, that's my community. And that's trauma. And that's re traumatization. And baby, they cannot bring me their healing. I'm living it. The hospitals, what they had, the chaplains, the people they were bringing into me. I don't want to talk to none of them because how can you understand what I'm going through? How can you understand what I'm going through? What I feel as an advocate for 38 years for my people to now know a young man is going to prison. A young black man is going to prison now. Do you understand what that has done to my head? Do you understand what it's done to families? Well, I'm talking about trauma, and nobody's talking about this stuff, and we patty caking, and it's time out for patty caking, people. You want to say that you're spiritual? You want to say that you're anointed? You want to say that you have all these gifts and you have all the answers? Well, then stop using it to hurt your brother and sister and learn to respect the fact that it's okay. We have never been monolithic. We are many tribes. And when we can understand that, we can now come back together again and begin to build and erect some things. And that's why I'm calling for us to have a peace treaty. For 1 week, cut the bull crap and let's come and let's talk. And you show me what you know, and I'll show you what I know. Because, baby, what we've been doing and we've been asking permission for over and over and over. And meanwhile, we sit and we watch everybody else get laws erected for them, and they still refuse to give us a law. They still refuse to give us reparations. They still refuse. So aren't you tired of asking? Aren't you tired of playing the way that they want to play? We've done everything that they've asked us to do. We have done everything that they have asked us to do. We have done. Give us your children. We'll give you your children. Let us educate you. We let you educate us. No, we don't want you guarding no more. Let us feed you. Okay, you can feed us. Of all people, Native American and African Americans, or those who are indigenous, those who actually know how to use the food and cultivate, we have become dumb deaf and said, okay, you can do it because you do it better than us, because that's what they brainwashed us to believe. And now can't find a real fruit or real vegetable. We can't find no real meat nowhere. Do you understand that I realized that my grandson will never know what real meat is? They won't know what a real meal is. The generations have changed. Things have changed. We don't sit at the table no more. We don't sit at the table and have conversation no more. Everybody's a drone. And our children and our children's children, do you understand, will never know real food? And we got the nerve to be sitting here trying to demonize one another with our gifts and with our talents and with our wisdom of the things that come through the spirit. And the ones that are supposed to be spiritual are still on here talking stuff that don't mean nothing. I'm talking about, come on, baby, let's come together. Let's talk. Let's get to know one another, because we got some land that we need to buy by next year. We need to buy some land by next year. And when I buy that land, I don't want to buy the land with people that are in the matrix. I don't want to buy the land with people that don't have good character and don't have good morals. I don't care what you call yourself, because there's a standard when it comes to righteousness. You either got the spirit of righteousness or you don't. Period, point blank. Never mind what we are down here confused about, because nobody has the full answers. Nobody has the full answers. In every sect, got a bunch of people that act foolish. Huh? Every sect, ain't nobody perfect. Every sect got somebody out there that think that they spiritual, giving their sect a bad name. I'm talking to those that are righteous, to those that say, okay, this is what I believe in, and then I walk it. Because if you're doing that, then you should have love in your heart, and you should be mature enough to understand that we're not asking a mixed doctrine. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is to have enough respect for one another, to have enough love for one another, to allow each other to finally heal, because nobody else is going to allow us to heal. Nobody else is going to give us everything that we need for us to heal, because once we heal, we become and tap into the power that we need to break the chains and to finish the race, because we didn't finish the race. We ain't come to freedom yet. Because if we came to freedom, we'd have our own president. We'd have our own king. We'd have our own things the way that we had before. And we wouldn't still be here begging and asking for our lives to mean something to this country. So it is enough of falling for the banana in the tailpipe. It is enough of that, y'all. It is enough of asking and begging and hoping that they put somebody black in there that can go up against all of the systematic racism. Just because somebody has a drop or a couple of drops of black in them, you think they're gonna come and just everything's gonna be going our favor right now. They're showing you they are bucking against you. They got Project 2025. I'm not here to politics, but I've been listening. I'm asking the righteous, what is this your business? What are you supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be the watchman on the wall. You're not supposed to be digging at your brother and your sister. You're supposed to be looking at the character and understand the spiritual character of your brother and sister, and stop trying to colonize them. Stop trying to colonize them. Stop trying to make them believe what you believe. Stop trying to put your regulations of your tribe on them. What goes for you doesn't appeal to me. That does not make me evil. And stop that, and shame on you for thinking that I'm evil. Why? Because I decided to go back and find out what I would have known had we not been taken over here in the first place. That's my story. That's my lineage. Maybe it's not yours. Maybe you're Native American. Maybe you're indigenous, whatever it is that you believe. But what I'm trying to say to you is, can I heal? Will you allow me to heal? Will you allow me to be me? Why is it that I can't be me? Why can't even be in my own community without being demonized? Because I'm doing what I'm doing, which is still righteous. You don't see me hurting no children. You see me going hard for our community. You see me respecting the elders. You see me doing the same thing that your righteousness requires you to do. We just call each other something different. So allow me to be me and allow me to heal. Because if we don't allow each other to heal, nobody's coming to allow us to heal. Because that is the power right there. That is the power to come together. That's why I'm calling this time next year, August 3rd through the 9th, a week of peace and a week of healing, where we will come together and we will cry together and we will forgive one another and we will allow each other to finally just be. Can I just be? And can you still love me? Why must you shoot at me? I don't shoot at you. It's so easy that it's hard, because we're so caught up in this Western mindset. Even those that are spiritual are still caught up in a Western mindset when it comes to certain things that we do. And we don't even need the white man or anybody else to come in here and whip us or to beat us. We don't need nobody else to do it, because we do a good job every day. Just look online and you'll see the spiritual battles. Look online and look at all the spiritual battles. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. We can't agree in the same tribe, and we fighting against other tribes. We can't agree in the same tribe. We fighting in the same tribe. You ain't doing this right. You ain't doing that right. And meanwhile, we're dealing with generational traumas. And we wonder why our community looks the way that it looks right now. So I propose to you that we work together, that we come together. And those that have a nonprofit organization, we really should be coming together right now, because you want to talk about reparations. Baby, If you don't understand and stop allowing people to talk about, oh, the government, the government. No, there's a way to get in and get out. And you don't have to do nothing with the government. But all these corporations out here, all these foundations that all this wealth went to, guess what? They give money too. So you don't even have to write for the government contracts. You don't have to write if you don't want to. You don't have to write for, you don't have to if you don't want to. But there's a lot of corporations out here, people, that have made money off of what has gone on in this country against us. So I'm not going to keep begging for reparations. I learned some things. Now I'm going to come over here and now we're going to raise some money and we're going to grab that. And we're going to do some building because nobody's coming to help us. Nobody's coming to help us. It's time to heal for real. Everything we're doing is a band-aid until we come back to who we truly are. A purification of mind. So during this time, during this season, if you hear me and what I'm saying is resonating with you, understand this ain't going to be like no other retreat. Ain't no big keynote speakers. Ain't no workshops. You heard me? We're going to seek. We're going to heal. We're going to exchange hearts with each other. We're going to stand in the gap. We're going to stand in the gap every day. Every day. Trust, I know. I'm sitting here. Trust, I know. If you don't know and you don't know my story, go back and look at my TikToks. I'm a walking, breathing miracle. I took my last breath, not once, twice, back in September. I'm sitting here right now. If I stand up, you would see equipment on me because I go to the bathroom out of my side right now. And I still have bullets launched all throughout my body. If I stand up right now, I don't have my knee because he blew my kneecap out and half of my femur, heard my bones crush. I know what it's like to take my last breath. I know what I'm talking about right now. I know what I seen when I was down under for 4 days. And when I come back up, and that's why I'm talking the way that I'm talking. That's why I'm saying things that I'm saying. This is why I'm coming out without fear. This is why I'm coming out without fear. Baby, I got more than peace. See, y'all don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. Don't miss it. See, you come and trying to preach and you're missing it. See, if you're new and you heard and understood my story, this is about peace. This is the clarion call. Things are already happening. They're in place. I'm just coming doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Those that understand, those that hear will come. The phone calls will come. They'll start to connect. I'm talking about healing. And it's so foreign to us because we are so used to the sugary, substancey messages. The messages, you don't have it. That's why you're unable to stay quiet. I pray for you. I can feel your. No, you don't feel nothing. No. See, you at the wrong place. You at the wrong place, baby. You at the wrong place for all that. You don't feel nothing. Stop it before you hurt yourself. Stop it before you hurt yourself. You don't feel nothing. There's no anxiety here. There's no anxiety here. It's excitement. It's a difference. It's a difference. And to understand, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't know nothing about me, but here you come already taking a little fragment of what you're seeing. And instead of listening to what your sister is saying and trying to hear and receive that, I'm talking about us coming together and healing in a way that we've never healed before. It's a clarion call of saying, hey, does anybody else and who else understands the season that we're in? It's a time for us to gather because we've been playing church for far too long and we've been hurting one another for far too long. And as I'm saying that, you are doing exactly what I'm talking about. You have not sat with me. You have not came over and said, hey, let me DM you. Can I talk with you? Because I'm concerned because this, and this. No, what you're feeling is your own anxiety and you're projecting it because I do not have anxiety. What I have is talking about the need for us to do what I'm talking about right now is to heal. Because do you think that that is healing? How is that? If I'm coming and I'm talking about healing, how is you now coming on my live and saying, oh, no, you're not healed. You have anxiety. Like, who are you? Like, you just, all that I say went straight over your head. Straight over your head. No, not about healing. Not about healing. Not about, yeah, I think this is a great idea, sister. Yeah, we should come together. I understand, the urgency. I understand the excitement. I understand, like, yeah, we really do need to come together. Like, what can we do? No, you said that I was anxious and a couple of other things, and that's what you were feeling. And I'm trying to tell you that's not if that's what you were feeling, then that comes from you. Because all I'm bringing out right now is love and concern. All I'm bringing out is trying to say, hey, listen, we need to come together so that we can heal. That's all I'm talking about is healing. So how you come in and, stop projecting these things. And I'm telling you, no, it's not because I'm not that one for that. you know and it's okay, not arguing nothing, but I'm just not that one for that. And if you knew me, you would know. If you understood the walk that I've actually been walking out for 15 years and what I've just gone through in the reason why I'm here. I mean, I literally took my last breath. I'm not playing with anybody. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. We need a very big hug. And this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Instead of coming on and trying to project things, it should have been a conversation. If you had felt as though that I was off or whatever, then it could have been a conversation. But you don't come and just start assuming and saying, well, this is what I see in you. No, 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 don't do that. Because that's not what it is. And that's hurtful. And so now there's, this is it's so perfect. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this because this is exactly what I'm talking about. It's a perfect example. I don't mean to be anxious in a bad way. I mean, I know what you mean, wish the world would change. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm talking about. In this conversation, what we're having, this is love. This is an exchange. So now I'm seeing, okay, so it was a miscommunication. Okay, and text does that. When we can't have an open conversation, text does that. But I love you. And I'm so thankful. I love all my brothers and sisters, and that's why I'm here to do this. And you know what? I'm not a famous person. Maybe I have some nerves being shown right now because this is a big call. This is putting myself out here, telling people, my vision, my dream, the things that God has been showing me since I was a little girl. It's putting myself out here and saying, hey, who else feel it's I'm not a professional speaker or influencer. I'm just a woman who hears, a woman who seeks. And so maybe it is my nerves because I got to get on. You got to do it. I'm busting out my shell here. I've tried to bust out my shell a few times and I go back in. If you pay attention to me, I'll come out and then I go back in. And so I'm just trying to be obedient. I'm just really trying to be obedient. Yes, text really does. That's a big problem now. Social media is running so much, but also good. Yes, ruining. Yeah, it is. And then, and I yield too to say, when I seen that, I was like, what's going on here? So, but this is exactly what we need. And to be able to resolve it in love and to say, it's okay because we don't know each other. You don't know my whole walk. I don't know your whole walk. But let's not assume. Let's not assume that we know what our brothers and sisters are going through or what they need until we actually sit down. That's what I'm saying. The healing and the ability to actually just sit down and heal with one another and to hear one another and to not assume. I don't think I'm doing very good on my. I think TikTok. I think y'all got my attention because I'm supposed to be on both things, and I think my Facebook and my YouTube. That I think they're gonna see this. But nobody's there. So I'm gonna, of course, come to where I see people and people are engaging with me. So I do apologize for people that might come on to Facebook or YouTube later on. You heard me saying, I'm still new to this. I am a speaker. It's been years since I spoke. I am an award-winning speaker. I've also written books and everything, but I've been on this side of the hustle of trying to get a nonprofit running for the last umpteen years just by myself, and I actually got to the point where I had all the support. I had the finances coming in. I was home, didn't have to pay no rent. Everything was finally cool after 15 years. And I go to visit a friend and I wake up in the hospital. So, I'm just coming back and I had an experience. I had a real experience with my ancestors while I was wherever I was for 4 days. And since I've been back, things have been difficult, but the one thing is my spirit, and because there's no counselors out here, what could you say? What could you really say to me? You don't understand the dynamics of what it is that I'm enduring right now. As a woman who rides hard for her community, as a woman who raised three boys and knows and never want to ever see one of her sons go to prison or, and to know what that does to me, to know that that boy's sitting in prison right now for a good 15, at least 15 years. And I'm out here still, my whole organization is about lifting and advocating. I'm out here getting ready to go and talk about it. But so I'm like, these are dynamics that how could they come in and understand this? How could they come in and understand the turmoil that I was feeling? The friend who's no longer a friend, the separation of families because of the incident and just the different things that. And so I was like, no, but I know who I am. Even the fact of the medicine and the way they treat you in the hospitals. I'm trying to tell y'all they treat us different in so many different aspects. And all I'm saying is, you know what? We don't have to keep doing this. And I'm not the only person out here talking like this, and I know that I'm not. But I'm tired of being out here and having to be stuck or feeling like I'm stuck, living in a world that I don't want to live in, that I don't even fit in, because my mind and my heart is different. I'm not about it's about me person. I'm a very given person. I'm a person that just wants to love people and just wants to be loved back. I just want to be able to go outside and eat some good food right off the tree like I did when I was little. I don't want to have to be in a building for 8, 9 hours being stressed out. That's not what I was created for. And so I just want to find like-minded people that are ready to come together and say, you know what? We don't need to ask for permission. Let's go get some land. Let's go ahead and build our little retreat center and spa. Let's cultivate the land and make sure we have our solar. Let's make sure that we have our agriculture. And let's start building the things that we need again. You want your kids to be able to go to a school where they can be proud of themselves and actually learn history and not have to be stuck in a classroom and like go back to our culture and do some more things like that, where you don't have to worry about the things that you know are not right for your children. Everybody else has done it. Everybody else has come over and made their communities. The Jewish people have their communities. The Chinese people have their communities. The Mexicans have their communities. The Irish have their communities. The Polish have their communities. When people come over, they do it. They migrate together. We're the only ones all spread out. Don't even have our families living around us. We all spread out everywhere. Things happen and we got to find out on the news because we're not, when the village is gone, it's destroyed. So why don't we bring it back? Yeah. Everybody, that's what's wrong. Everybody's separating, not all people uniting. It's, I tell people like this: those that want to stay and continue to fight the good fight and, go vote and go for it. But those of us that are sick and tired of begging and asking and dying and being poisoned and just really want to live the way that, like go back to Eden, you know, nice climate, fresh water. You don't have to worry about nothing. Kids can run, kids can go out, you don't have to worry about nobody robbing you, nobody raping you, nobody beating up. You don't have to worry about all of that because we take care of one another. And then when it's time for us to do our worship, when it's time for us to do the things that we do to keep our spirits, to keep us, our character, you have the right to go ahead and do it. Just like we do it now on like Saturdays and Sundays. We go to work every day with these people. We go to work every day with them. We help them buy money. I've said it 50,000 times, right? So why can't we do that amongst ourselves? Why can't you have enough couth to sit alongside your sister? So that's your call. Then you said you're sick and tired of separation. Plan to help humanity, not for one group. That's beautiful. If that's what you're called to do, that's absolutely wonderful. That's beautiful. Do it. Do it. That's not my call. My call is to finally give a group of people who have never in generations since we've been over here has had the opportunity to just heal and to build and have a fair share, just to live. And I'm sorry, but I'm 56 years old and we're still asking and we're still begging and they're still killing us. So it's not that um, we can't get along. It's not that I can't get along with other people. It seems other people have a problem getting along with me. And not just Black people, but Native Americans as well. And just basically everybody, but I am who I am. And so, of course, I'm coming to represent my people because the Asians came over here and they got a bill to protect them. The Jewish people got a bill to protect them. Can't even say nothing about them. They will shut you down, cancel you, you know? And so it's always, we all have to do it together whenever it comes to talking about Black people healing. But everybody else, it is fine for everybody else to separate and get their healing, build their communities, and do what they need to do. So ask yourself, why is it only a problem for Black people to come together and heal? You know, why? And why do we think that we can't? Why do we think that, oh my God, no, that's racist if we want to have not we did everything that they've asked to do? So I want my grandson and my granddaughters not to have to endure the things that I've had to endure and that my father's had to endure and that so many families have had to endure. It's just really about healing. I think that we have the right to heal. I really do. I think that we have the right to heal. I think that is long overdue that we are allowed to be put back together again because they have been dividing and divisive. And here's the thing that we have to remember. If you go back and look at history and go back and look at the laws and look at how everything was constructed, that the way our community is right now comes out of it from the uh, design. It goes all the way back to Jim Crow and what they were saying. This is how you do this. Everything that they did for us when they gave us, to supposedly helping us with finances, it wasn't because they wanted to. It's because they realized how much money that they could gain from the Black community. It wasn't a welcome at open arms, oh, just because. No, it's because they realized, hey, even though they're working for free now, we can make them consumers. And to this day, in 2024, what do the majority of Black people own? Nothing, because when we did come together, because what we did live together, all in the same area, and that's when we were the most effective. And when they realized that after 400 years of beating us and everything else, that we could still come and be resilient and rise. And we built hospitals, and we built airports, and we built hotels and houses, and they literally came and bombed. And so we have now got it in our head. They've done it so many times that even the thought of us working together to do something, it seems like a dirty little thought, or it seems like there's something wrong. You know, they act like there's something totally wrong. And all I'm saying is, come on, people, we don't need permission for that. We don't need permission. We don't need their permission to heal. We just need respect for one another. And the freedom to say, I'm gonna allow you to be who you are. And if Jesus is what does it for you, good for you. If it's Allah, if it's whatever tribe that you're from, I'm not going to come with my sword. I'm not going to try to stab you. I'm not going to declare you evil. I'm going to come from out of the delusion and understand that we have always been many tribes. Our native brothers and sisters have many tribes, as we have many different names. We weren't all taken from the same place. We were taken from the majority of the place, but not all weren't taken from the same place. That's why they separated us when they got us over here. That's why they shaved our heads, because our hair would tell you what tribe you were in. That's why they mixed us up so we couldn't speak to each other. So we're not asking for permission. I'm not asking for permission. I'm asking for the people that understand what I'm saying to come forth so we can start having some real conversations off air. See, that's your doctrine, that's your belief. That has nothing to do with me. You see how you just lightweight. I don't even know. Jesus will grab you by the tongue if you ask him, or someday it will be by surprise, just helping you. How is that helping me for what I'm saying right now? How is that even relevant? We're talking about people coming together from different tribes. We're talking about people not putting their beliefs on somebody else and allowing them to be who they are. And you are the perfect example of what I'm talking about, why we will not, or a certain amount will never be able to heal. Where you think that you're giving love in all these things, all this Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Do you know? Do you know if I'm a Christian? Do you know if that's my belief? Because you haven't asked me. You're just assuming. And so now, as you're sitting here trying to teach instead of listening, You sit here trying to teach because you think that you are onto something instead of listening. Because if you were listening, you would hear me say that we need to allow each other to be who we are in the spiritual realm, because nobody has all of the answers. And not one, if there was one perfect religion or spiritual system, then we should find no error in it. And there's not one. For every spiritual system, I can show you people that think that they're in that system and they're wicked. So nobody has a system that they've come in and that they've used and it's transformed every single person's life that's ever touched it, which means we're missing something. So stop trying to fix me for where you think that I'm broken, and hear me, because I'm more spiritual than most people that I know. And had you known, you would understand that, because I don't know most people that have actually walked away from everything in their life. And I started as a pastor, an ordained pastor 15 years ago, when I walked away from my corporate job and said, okay, listen, I know you've been talking to me my whole life. And I know that it's going to take something greater than just a little fast here. It's going to take something greater than going down to that church. It's going to take something greater, because you're pulling on me and you're talking to me. And whatever it is, I yield to it. And I walked away from everything. And I've been living off of my spiritual ear for 15 years. I've been able to travel the country, write books, have accolades, all types of things. I'm not looking for a name or a fame, though. But I got a walk that's been real. I can show you things that people can attest to you about my walk. I'm not the only person. But what I'm trying to say is, you see what I'm saying? And here you come telling me about what Jesus will do for me, and you're praying for me, and you're doing this for me, and you don't know nothing about me. You've already degraded me. You've already taken me from where I know I'm spiritually down here to your level of understanding. And this is what we need to stop doing. This is what we need to stop doing. It's ridiculous, this. Your doctrine don't fit in my life. So all the curses, what? Now I'll accept prayers, good prayers. I've had people all over the country praying for me. I've had the Muslims praying for me, the Moors praying for me, the Hebrews praying for me, the Christians praying for me. Everybody's praying for me. And I accept it all. Because guess what? It wasn't a title, it was the righteous. What's going on? Oh yeah, no, I don't know hablo español. Yeah, I don't know how you got up there. I have no idea. Yeah, I don't know how to work this thing. Yeah, I don't know how to work it. I don't know how to play the game. So I don't know what this happened. But I'm like, I don't know what I just did. But anyways, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. To come on and just hear somebody talking for a few minutes and just assume that you know everything about that person, and you assume that you know their spiritual needs. And see, this is all a part of the playing that we've been doing. This is a part of the playing. We're so used to playing in God's face. We're so used to playing church that when you actually see somebody walking by faith, you actually see somebody who's actually been through some serious encounters, that you still can't hear. And you coming over to that person talking about, oh my God, I gotta pray for you. I hope Jesus give you his tongue. Huh? So, anyways, I think I've made my hour for today. It has been a real conversation. It has been a nice conversation. Thank y'all for coming. It has been live and real deal. I expect it. I expect people to come on and, people that are not opening or receptive to what it is that I'm saying and still just steadfast in their ways of wanting to colonize one another and don't know how to respect one another being different. And maybe that's why I got the call. Maybe that's why, because within these 15 years of being developed and being developed and being developed and sitting with my brothers and sisters and listening to them instead of trying to shoot at them, seeing why you believe what you believe without trying to judge, just I want to know. Wow, that's cool. If that's what changed your life, that is cool, and I'm cool with it. Because it ain't got nothing to do with me when I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, only person I gotta stand to is who I believe in. You can't do nothing for me. I can't do nothing for you when we come to close our eyes and we gotta stand account for how we handle ourselves here. There's gonna be nobody there with you. And so as long as I know that I'm cool, you can't take that from me. And why would you want to? Move nice with it. Just look at the character, look at how I live my life and see righteousness. Because that's what I see with my brothers and sisters. Why is it that I can sit with anybody, and we can love and have good conversation, and we can even talk about some spiritual things, and it's okay? Because I'm excited. I'm sharing with you. Guess what I found out today? Oh, wow, that's awesome. That's really good. You're not teaching my children. I'm not teaching your children. I'm not trying to win your children over here. You ain't trying to win mine. We allow each other to be in our respective tribes. Why is that so difficult when we do it every day? Why is that so difficult when we do it every day with everybody else? And why is it so difficult that when people of color come together and say, you know what, it's time for us to do some things together, there's always an issue? And why is it people of color be the first ones to make the issue about we can't? But meanwhile, we will support every other community that has a community within the United States. We don't care how many times they beat us at the Asian store. We don't care how many times they kidnap us in the stores and lock people in the stores for faulty stuff. We don't care how many times we see it. We are so desensitized. We will still go and support. You will still go and support those other people that serve another God. You will go give your last dime. You will go give your paycheck, your hard-earned money for that hair and them eyelashes and them nails to get done. But you can't sit with your brother or sister who's righteous. You want to shoot at your brother and sister who's righteous, though. Make it make sense. You want to come and tell somebody who is completely healed and gone through healing and heals and is a healer that, oh, something not right, because if I had said Jesus behind everything that I said, then it would have been, hey. If we don't stop it, and come together. So let those that hear. Those that understand. Those that have a desire for healing, real healing, not the fooling around healing, Not the type of healing that we do for a couple of minutes on the floor and then we get up and we still gossip and talk about people. Not the type of healing that only comes because we're hearing the music and it's hype and we're jumping up and down and gyrating, but we go home and we still nasty to people. Not the type of healing that doesn't require for us to clean ourselves up, for us to get past ourselves, for us to get past ourselves so that we can heal. All right, y'all. I'll be on Clubhouse at 11:30 on Sunday at Arike's Vision. You catch me back here on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock. I'm gonna keep the dual. I'll just have to do this, but I'm not gonna do 6 o'clock and then come on TikTok at 7 o'clock. It's too much for me. So this is what I'm gonna do. So all this will be 6 o'clock every Tuesdays and Thursdays. Eventually, we'll talk more. I'm just keep spreading what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. This has only been the second day. So, just keep spreading what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, and then move into some more topics of value in ways and solutions that we can actually do once we come together and take it offline and actually, become a community. And within that community, we can talk about some of these things and we can definitely talk about healing and we can definitely talk about next year because the goal is this is the goal, not for me to just set up all me and my team to get it together and then invite you all down. No, we're going to start communicating now. We're going to start communicating now. We're going to start to to know each other now so that when we get to the end, excuse me, whatever needs to happen can happen spiritually because we're purified and we're ready. Ain't nobody going in the flesh. So, uh-oh. I'm trying to I don't know this little puzzle thing. I don't know what it's doing. Okay. So it's time for me to get off now. So yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's gonna be. That's what I'm praying for. And I'll see you all on Sunday at 11:30 on Clubhouse, and where you can actually talk back to me. So, whoo, I don't know if I'm ready for all that yet, but we'll see what happens. Okay, y'all, from my heart to yours, have a wonderful rest of your day. Know what I say? You don't need permission to heal. All we need is respect and love for one another. Be good to each other. From my heart to yours. Bye.